Good afternoon and welcome back to Realcomm Live. Pretty excited to be here this afternoon. We got a really good subject. We're going to chat a little bit about AI and cybersecurity, talk a little bit about Microsoft and what you guys are doing. I've got Mona Ghadiri, I think I got that right.
Absolutely.
And Denis Cekic to talk to you guys this afternoon. My name is Fitzpatrick. I'm with the Real Estate Cyber Consortium, Executive Director. And let's kick this thing off. I'd like to start off with AI, right? Hot topic. This one is for you, Denis. Do you feel that companies are rushing to jump into this AI craze without really doing their proper due diligence when it comes to cybersecurity and how cyber is affected by implementing AI?
From what I've seen, the AI craze does capture, companies to want to go in, head first without doing their due diligence. But what I would recommend for companies that are doing that is, take a step back and try to understand what capabilities exist in these AI technologies. See how they apply to your business by listing out your business use cases after you learn about it, and then creating a strategy around it. A strategy will help you follow a certain guideline in trying to be successful in its implementation. Mm-hmm. So I think that as long as you take a structured approach and you're not just going into it blindly, whatever you adopt, whether it's AI or a different type of technology, as long as you take this fundamental approach, I think your chances of success will be greater. But yes, I do agree, or I do see companies going in head first because it's all this craze. They think it could do it for them. But take that structured approach is my recommendation. You'll see your odds of success go up.
So when you're talking AI, are we talking about creating new teams within your organization, like a AI
Maybe.
Governance team? Or?
Yeah, definitely governance. I mean, I don't know if AI needs its own governance team, but definitely it needs a whole software development lifecycle, right? The same as that we treat like an application being built, we have to do the same things. Who are the users who are going to have access to this? What access do they have? How is that audited, right? How are we QAing the work that they are doing? And then how are we assessing, in my world, right, I talk a lot about Microsoft, but then how are we assessing what people put in the prompts, what they take out of them? Right? What are all the other kind of non-infrastructure related things we need to think about in addition to what data are we plugging in, what data is going in the data lake? So I think kind of taking that coupled approach of governance needs to be both about the users and about the data,
right?
And trying to think about permissions as part of that is a really good plan to move forward.
So it sounds like data governance is part of that whole strategy.
Absolutely. And data governance, like I said, really needs to touch everything from retention. Mm-hmm. Are we keeping the prompts? Are we keeping the answers for the prompts? How long are we keeping the data that goes in the models, right? Do we give people all the time access to AI? Do we give them sometimes access? Is it like Cookie Monster says, cookies are a sometimes food?
Right.
I think something like that is a much better approach than saying you can use this for anything, anywhere, anytime. Because what we see in customers who go down that kind of adoption route is that the cost ends up overrunning the return on investment that they could potentially get, because people are treating AI more like a Bing search or a Google search than they are like, how do we structure a prompt that anyone can use in the entire organization that would give them repeatability time over time, right?
Right. So are you guys seeing that organizations are starting to develop policies around governing AI?
Yeah, definitely. And I think the big thing that I've been seeing is not only that do they want the controls, from a legality perspective, but they want it implemented in the tools themselves. Right? And they're not happy just saying, oh, I have this risk register and I put something on the risk register. They're very much looking for a broader conversation with a lot more depth than I think people would have done even like a year ago.
Yeah. So you're with Microsoft, right? And a lot of our owners out there are using the Microsoft stack. What are you guys doing when it comes to cybersecurity for Copilot and the remainder of that stack?
Yeah, so I'm a Microsoft MVP, so that means I'm one of the top contributors in the world to making Microsoft tools and products better. And a lot of the work that I do is specifically to cybersecurity tools and processes and procedures. And what Microsoft has done in the last 5 years is unparalleled with any other company in the world. I've never seen a company hire more cybersecurity professionals and throw more money at a cybersecurity problem than Microsoft. And that includes my time working with the US government. And so when I think about what Microsoft is doing with AI, right, they've made a really strong partnership with OpenAI, right? And OpenAI is that kind of IKEA furniture style, I'm going to build my own cabinet approach to AI, right? I'm going to do the DevOps myself. I'm going to do the training of the model myself, right? And in some really specific use cases, it makes a lot of sense to do that. But what I find more, and especially with in the real estate industry, is that people's expertise is in real estate. It's not in cybersecurity. It's not in DevOps. It's not in these kinds of things. So Copilot for Security is Microsoft's answer to, I want the cabinets installed for me. I want to focus on what goes inside the cabinets, not building the cabinets themselves, right?
Absolutely.
And when you think about that problem being about what you want to put inside the cabinets and not building the cabinets themselves, it's much easier for me to come to you and say, let's not talk about what the infrastructure we're building. What needs to go in these cabinets? We need tall ones, we need short ones, are we putting cereal boxes in them? Are they tin cans, right? It makes a huge difference to what cabinetry we would even build. And so that's the conversation Microsoft is trying to have with customers. What do you need to put in your cabinet? What does the size of it need to be? What are you trying to do with it, right? And then ultimately, like, how long are we going to keep things in the cabinet, right? Because a bad can of soup is just as bad as bad data, right? You're going to have the same, somebody's going to have a stomach ache over it, whether it's physical or emotional, right? So I think what Microsoft is trying to do is give you that answer of what do I want to put in the what do I want to put in the cabinet first? They've also kind of taken this approach to say Copilot should be an embedded experience, right? I should meet you where you're doing your work. So whether that's Microsoft Word, Excel, or the Microsoft security suites, right? Like Sentinel, Defender for Cloud, Microsoft Purview, Intune, right? This embedded experience is coming directly to where the user is trying to do their work. So if you had someone who is, for example, using Copilot for security and they wanted to look at Purview data, right? They could use it in two places. One is the standalone experience, and one is actually right where they're doing their insider risk bad baddie investigation, right? And I think that's really unique to have both experiences, because if you look at CrowdStrike or you're looking at some other security tools, they're really only able to reason over their own data sets, right? It's very concise, it's very down to the plugin, right? But what Microsoft is trying to do is say this is an open ecosystem, and you can bring those data sources in and reason over whatever data sources you want in whatever tables you want. So you're getting a much broader answer too in what Microsoft is doing versus standalone AI being plugged into a cybersecurity tool or even like a Microsoft productivity tool. So it's almost like you have these two Venn diagrams and you're getting the best of both when you're thinking about cybersecurity with Microsoft.
Nice. So let's talk about nation state and hackers and all that good stuff. Hackers are starting to become more and more advanced in using AI tools to develop ways to, get into your built environment, right? So are organizations, or should organizations start thinking of using AI as part of their cyber strategy? Right?
I think absolutely there are three places where cybersecurity can take advantage of AI. One is this idea of context. What else is happening in the context of this particular alert, right? Has that user seen other, have you had other incidents for that user? Is there other enrichment, right? We can bring from other data sources into the security conversation. So that's one place where AI and cybersecurity is a really good match. The second is, what should I do about it? Make a recommendation, right? What could I do if I wanted to go so far as to change down to the registry keys in Intune for this particular MDM setting, right? So Copilot can give me the answers faster than I can look in the Microsoft Learn documentation, right? And I think the third place is, where is the data going next, right? So almost every case, right, either the investigation is going to a case management system, it's going into a board report, it's going into a Teams channel, right? There's no one better than Microsoft to think about where the data goes next, right? Because where you get that data or the recommendation you're giving is not the end state. The end state is, what are you doing with it next? Do I have a war room? Do I want to plug all this data into my war room for my active live investigation? Maybe, right? Or I may want this to be a weekly email that goes to my senior leadership, right? You can have that customization and that ability with Microsoft in a way you really don't get from other platforms.
Yeah. So we've got about 30 seconds left. Denis, final thoughts when it comes to cyber and AI?
Look, I think any bad actor out there is going to equip themselves with the latest and greatest and cutting edge technology. We want to know, what tools are out there that attackers could use so that we could properly defend against it, or even equip ourselves with like capability so that we could defend ourselves against it. We really leave no stone unturned. We want to know what's out there, what the capabilities are, so that we could be in a position to protect ourselves.
Absolutely. How about you?
Oh man, this is some of you guys have heard me talk before, probably have heard me say this, but you can't make chicken salad out of chicken shit.
Absolutely.
So every time you're thinking about putting data in your AI, think about the quality of that data. Because if you're expecting chicken salad and what you're putting in is chicken shit, you're going to have a bad time with AI, and you're going to look at this and say, this AI is a piece of junk, right? When in the actuality, either the question, the answer, or the way the question was asked, right, or the data itself is actually the problem. So think about the quality of the data you're putting into your models or into your operations first, and then think about whether the result was good or bad.
Absolutely. Garbage in, garbage out. And with that, I'll say goodbye. And thank you for having the time and spending the time chatting about this today. It's been really enlightening going on this AI journey and taking it all in, right? It's been like drinking from a fire hose. And sounds like Microsoft has figured out a lot of what's going on.
We're doing a BlueVoyant summer camp. So I work for a company called BlueVoyant. If any of you guys are interested in learning more about Copilot for security, you want to delve into more of what the Microsoft equivalent of the security stack is like, you can go on our website and check it out. It's really, like I said, meant to be educational and meant to help people make better decisions about what they want to do next. So thanks for your time.
Yep. Thank you very much.